The market is panicking, but we don't panic, we pivot. Trump just announced new tariffs on electronics, clothing, and construction equipment, and the global economy is feeling the shockwaves. The good news is that this shakeup gives us clues as to where things are headed. So, what does this mean for your money, your business, and your future? Let's break it down. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to Balance Muse, where we talk about wealth, wisdom, and a greater sense of well-being. So today, I have a really interesting topic that I wanted to talk about. And I usually go over my brainstorming notes and my ideas with AI, ChatGPT, to get them organized. And while we were having this little brainstorming session on what the topic we're going to talk about today, I had an epiphany of the thought of Sankofa. And for those of you who aren't really familiar with Sankofa, it is a term that is used by the Akan people, I'm not sure if I got the pronunciation correct, but they have a sense of go back and fetch it. And it's to put in the process of remembering what you did in the past so that you can take those lessons that you learned and bring them forward into the future. So what people can start doing right now, or especially women, what they can start doing right now in order to navigate these changes that are going on in the world right now. We are having a wealth transfer. And this does not mean that you are not going to be part of the wealth transfer. You're in it anyway because, big players are making moves as they do, but it doesn't mean that you cannot survive and thrive this transfer that's going on. So I like to talk about that because we're here to talk about wealth building and as an average everyday woman to make your transition a little bit easier. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up my notes so that we can go over what ChatGPT and I talked about. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and read them to you. How to adapt and secure the bag. It's a Sankofa moment. The wisdom is in our roots. The Akan people of Ghana gave us this concept of Sankofa, meaning go back and fetch it. It reminds us that the answers to the future are often found in the past. Our ancestors built wealth through self-sufficiency, group economics, and skills-based trade. In times of uncertainty, they didn't wait for permission, they created. That's exactly what we're about to do. Instead of tracing trends, let's reclaim what has always worked and apply it to today's economy. Now, I just wanted to make sure that I said that first because a lot of people have never heard of this concept of Sankofa. It's also founded in African tribes as it takes a village to raise the child. So this is the wisdom of the ancestors that is part of that community, and not to throw away all the good things that we learned from the times in harder times and challenging times and good times, but to take those things that we learned and bring them into the future. One of the things that has always been a characteristic of brown people all around the world, brown people, black people all around the world, they have been incredibly resilient. It's not to say that it should continuously be, as in we've always had to rely on resilience. But going through times of economic strain and trouble, we know how to take something out of just a small thing and make it into something greater. So that is just one of the characteristics that we've been dealing with for a long time. We're going to need that going forward. All right. So the first thing to think about as we move forward into this new era of wealth, we are going to be doing a lot more digital businesses, which equal lower overhead and higher freedom. Selling knowledge, coaching, consultations, and education products is future-proof. Opportunities are in the ebooks, the courses, AI-assisted services, TikTok Instagram social selling, and AI tools are making it easier than ever to create and market digital products. Okay, so we already know that the Department of Education is no longer. There's going to be a lot of children which are going to be put in precarious situations if we don't act now and think in proactive ways now. So teachers who have been recently let go, or if you're a teacher, an educator who is either thinking about leaving your job or is concerned about the future of your job, now is the time to start in thinking of ways future-based where you can build either a side hustle or a business of your own. Selling knowledge, coaching, consultation, and education products is future-proof. There's going to be a lot more people, children, that are going to need training. Even adults need the training now to prepare for the future that President Trump and his administration would like to see going forward. This means that if he is able to bring back these companies, I'm not saying how long it would take, but if he is able to reshore these companies, they need training. We have not made things in America for years. Our manufacturing base has been completely demolished. So teaching your children now not to think in terms of just going to college, but also thinking of trade schools, learning a trade, learning a skill. These are where the opportunities are going to be. I came up in a time where there was no other choice, or society and your elders believed that there was no other choice other than going to college, as far as you will go to a 4-year university. Because the college degrees, the price of them is no longer feasible for many people, middle class, even upper middle class. It's especially in the USA, because we have to pay for it. It's not free education. It's maybe no longer feasible to think in terms of just going to university. Think in terms of a trade, especially because that is where the winds are tending to shift. This is not to say that you shouldn't go to get a 4-year education, but unless you're in the STEM, that means science, technology, engineering, and math, it would be highly prudent for you to think of a different route, as opposed to the only route being through a 4-year college university. Okay, so that was the first page of notes that I wanted to talk about. In the second page, the new family business is local and cottage businesses. Home-based businesses and farmers markets are about to boom. Think artisanal goods, organic skincare, home-cooked meals, or custom fashion pieces. New trend alert. People will pay more for the made in America products. We're going to be paying more for it anyway because of tariffs, but everyone else will too. It's not just US citizens. If you can make something valuable locally, you win. Okay, I have been having the idea in my head for a while about the creation of families, how they're created, and how people should start thinking about creating families as we go into this new time period, this new age. And the new family business, as it's almost just like the idea came into my mind, the rise of the homemaker. So the skills that have often not been honored or not been paid as well for at least the past 50 years, I think they're going to be, first of all, they're going to be needed, but I think because it's generally been done by women, and because women now have access to their own bank accounts, which wasn't even possible until the mid-70s, I think women now can start to think in terms of homemaking as a business. There's been a rise in lots of home or trad wife type, if you will, content, where you see women making preserves, you see women sewing, that kind of thing. Yes, there are influencers who make money off of this content. It's always been placed in a light of it is a married mother and father, and they have children, and she is the one who's doing the homemaking. But I would challenge you and encourage you to think of it in terms of this is an industry, and you, even if you're a woman who is single, If you're a woman who has children, how can you think of this in terms of how can I monetize what I do normally as a domestic person, as the person who handles most of the domestic duties? What can I do as we move forward to monetize this content? If we are no longer, or we can no longer, order cheap things from China or other parts of the world, if because of Trump's tariffs, we are forced to bring things back home, or other industries are forced to bring things back home, that means the more artisanal labor, if you are good at something, if you are a seamstress, if you can knit, if you can make preserves, if you can show others how to do it, because it saves money. If you can make, certain things at home and you don't have to go out to the store for every little thing, that is a money saver, and people are going to need that. So thinking in terms of that, and then also farmers markets, where you're supporting the local economy, where you're supporting, or the money is being brought back to the people at home where they can use it in your own communities, that's going to help. I have already started looking into the cottage industries for my state that I'm living in, and I encourage you to do this as well. These are the type of industries of things that can be made in the home, and there are not laws against it. You have to check your own state, but these are things that can be made in the farmers markets when people are going to be looking for something that may be special and is not going to fall apart in 2 seconds, and that's not going to be sky high because of tariffs. Okay, number 3 point. Frugal is the new rich. Inflation proof your lifestyle. Use it up, wear it out, make do or do without. Smart swaps. Instead of buying new clothes, learn to upcycle and resell. Instead of buying tech at peak prices, look into refurbished and trade-in deals. Now, these tariffs are going to be affecting electronics, clothing, not as many groceries, because at least in the US, a lot of our grocery exports are from Mexico, and the tariffs are not going to be, they're exempt from his long list of tariffs. They're already going to be focusing on other areas. But for electronics and clothing, which many of those things come from China, now is the perfect time to start thinking about consignment shops, about going to locally made leather crafters and goods, things on Etsy. That's going to be probably booming up. And if you have a skill like that, where you can make handbags, you can make clothing, you can knit, you can sew, these are the areas where I see the money is going, because it's going to be first, America made first, if you're living in the United States. And it's an opportunity where now your goods can be honored, and as they should be for the skill level that you have placed into them. They will buy things that are quality and that will last a long time and that hold unique value to them, which is a quality of the rich. It is the quality of the wealthy to think in those terms. For those of you who are not good at sewing yet, start practicing on the clothes that you can find that are of good quality in the thrifting and consignment stores that you see. Now is the time to learn simple stitches, learn how to make darts in your clothing. Yes, that's a term that you can use that helps cinch in your clothing or take it out. There are many creators who are taking things, and they are reconstructing them in a way that will fit and be cute. I used to do this myself a lot. I had a degree in fashion merchandising, so we had to learn how to sew and everything like that. So think about that kind of thing moving forward. The 4th point is group economics, the power of the sisterhood. And I would say that's the power of community or the village. But in this term, especially since I'm mainly talking to the ladies out there, it is the power of sisterhood. What can your family, friend group, or trusted network create together? Example, a small group invests in a short-term rental, like an Airbnb, or a vending machine business, or an Airbnb experiences, which is a new thing with Airbnb, where people travel to a local event to have like a beer tasting, or they are going to learning how to make a certain type of meal from a certain culture. That's a local experience that Airbnb has just made recently available to people, and they're trying to promote it and bring that out. So if you can get your friends together, because in my future that I'm seeing where it's going, family is who you make it. It does not have to be the nuclear tradition family of man, woman, and 2 children and a dog, So that has now expanded to return to how it was in the past, where it's extended family now. It's grandmothers and grandfathers and uncles and aunts and cousins that are getting together and maybe being more, even in one house, having a family or starting a business. And if you do not have a really, some people aren't really having a very healthy family dynamic, at least biologically, think about your friends as in your group of friends and how you can get together and with like mind and come together and build a community. Think in terms of family and how all of you together, each one bringing your own skills and strengths, can thrive. Okay, so my last little PowerPoint thing. Okay, so the final thoughts are these shifts aren't just challenges. They are wealth building opportunities if you move strategically. Where is the money flowing? Towards digital knowledge, local businesses, and regional trade. So let's adapt, collaborate, and build, because no matter what's happening in the world, we stay secure with our wealth and our peace. Okay, and with that, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and take care, and I will talk to you soon.